How far would you go to support a dear friend? Roger Hess, pictured in this picture right here, trained for over a year and reached the highest peak in North America to support his friend, David Raw, his best friend, who back home was facing the biggest challenge of his life. Roger and David join us both. Thank you so much. This is great.
Thanks for having us.
This is such a heartwarming story, and it really started in the first grade. So,
right.
Tell us about what it is that you guys did together.
Well, I guess, yeah, it started in first grade. Dave and I have been the best of friends since first grade.
Yes.
You know, and really still to this day, do a lot of things together. But
something happened.
well, I had decided a long time ago to climb this mountain, but then, yeah, you're right, something did happen, and Dave, you should probably take it from there.
Yeah, well, last summer, my family and I were out in Colorado. We were driving a while. It was our first day there, and then it didn't feel good, and we pulled over, and my wife started to drive, and then we stopped. I had these seizures that were going on, and they got me to the hospital, helicopter and all that, and they performed brain surgery, and they found out that I had cancer. And it was just kind of a mess for me, but I eventually got together. They brought me back home to a New York hospital, and slowly made my recovery. And Roger was the first person to call and find out how I was doing, and he still continues to do that.
It was devastating news for you, Roger, but you wanted to do something.
Yeah, desperately, Jocelyn. I mean, you know, being such a close friend, I wanted to do something to help David, and there was obviously nothing I could do really to help him with his cancer, but I had planned on doing this climb and decided to dedicate the climb to Dave and to raising funds and awareness through the Tug McGraw Foundation.
Which, coincidentally, you guys are, what, really loyal Mets fans, too.
Yes, yes. And in fact, Dave was the one who told me about the Tug McGraw Foundation.
Yeah, Roger called me and he said, you know, to do this climb, everybody's saying you have to do it with a cause. And he called me up one night and he said, you know, I want to do this for you. Do you have anything you're particularly fond of? And I checked with my Met friends and they said, you know, Tug McGraw died from this kind of cancer, and he went on to play a little bit, but it devastated him. And all his Met fans and Philly fans, he was also playing for the Phillies. They created this, his son created this program called the Tug McGraw Foundation, and they raise a lot of money. And I just thought, since we're Met fans, that would really work.
Oh, great. So you decided you wanted to train and climb Denali, or as many people also know it as, Mount McKinley. Let's talk about this climb. In fact, we have a picture here of you training for this climb.
Yeah, the training. You know, part of the climb, you have to drag about an 80-pound sled. You wear about a 60, 65-pound backpack, and you drag a sled. We have about 140 pounds of gear, so some of it you drag a sled. And I trained by dragging this tire up Amity Road, Route 63, once a weekend. Got a lot of strange looks from passersby.
This was tough, wasn't it? This was challenging.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I spent about two and a half hours each weekend dragging the tire, and the pack weighed about 65 pounds.
And you did this for over a year?
The tire dragging I only did for about 4 months, but I started my training about 13 months before the climb.
And so when he told you that he wanted to do this for you, David, what did you think?
I was floored at first. I didn't even know what to say. And I said, you know what, can I get back to you in a week? And Roger said, I need to know now, which is typical Roger. And so that's when I called my friends and they told me about the Tug McGraw.
Very good. Now let's take a look at the climb.
Okay.
This is a very dangerous climb. And so you did it with 10 other people, is that right?
Actually, yeah, we were a group of 8 of us.
Oh, 8,
there were
okay.
6 climbers, including myself, and then you see in this photograph, the 2 guides are on the ends of the picture. The gentleman in the blue suit, Vern Tejas, was our lead guide, and he is a legend on the mountain and a real expert. And I would tell you that the reason I reached the summit was because of his expertise. And I would also tell you that, you know, he's the one who kept us safe and made sure that we did, you know, a great job. They really worked well.
And not everybody who climbs this reaches the summit.
That's right. Yeah, Jocelyn, I think it's about 50%, the National Park Service will tell you.
Where are you at this point?
That was, that last picture was probably on our way to Camp 2 at about 9,600 feet. And here's a picture of me, a little close-up at that point as well, as we were making our way up to Camp 2 in most of my climbing gear. The pack's off in that picture. This shot is at our camp at 11,000 feet.
How cold is it there at this point?
In the sunlight, it wasn't bad. I mean, it was probably in the 40s, but when there was no sunlight, it was probably about 5 degrees. And then, so our next camp was at 14,000 feet, got colder here. Again, in the sunlight, it was comfortable, but as soon as the sun went in, here was probably closer to 0.
What were the challenges for you as you were climbing?
Altitude. Really, most of it was altitude. You know, I mean, I wasn't maybe as strong as I should have been. Oh, and here's a shot at 17,000 feet, by the way. But I would say that altitude, by the time we got to 17,000 feet, I just felt terrible. It really, it just takes its toll on you emotionally, mentally, physically. Altitude's pretty tough.
So while you're climbing, you're back home trying to figure out where he is. Were you able to do anything, send anything, blog anything about this at all?
We're pretty much in complete isolation. The only exception is that the guide has a satellite phone. So once a day, he would call into a computerized message service, leave a message, and it would automatically post on the internet. So friends and family back home could click in and...
Yeah, we were clicking it. It didn't come through immediately, but then when it came at a great
So every day you were waiting to hear from Roger.
Yeah, all of us were, you know. It wasn't just me.
And here you are.
Yeah, I made the summit. I'm very proud to say I did.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Jocelyn. And that's my tent mate. His name is Paul Milburn. He's from Australia. Here's a shot that I took myself. And that was from, again, from the summit. It was about 12:30 in the morning on June 30th. The sun had just set, as you can see.
And so when you reach the summit, what can you do up there that tells everybody that you've been there?
Get a picture.
You leave something?
No,
you
no,
leave anything?
No, you can't leave anything. You get a
Can't
picture.
leave anything.
And they kind of rushed us off pretty quickly because it was very cold. I think I'd estimate it was about -15 just from what we had heard.
Oh my.
And it was cold and there's not a lot of oxygen, so it's probably a good idea to keep, you know, to get moving down.
How many days did it take?
Took us about 14 or 15 days to summit.
Is that a good time? I'm not sure.
Well, the record for Denali is,
Yes.
is held by a guy who was also supposed to guide us. His name is Chad Kellogg, and he did it in, I think, 14 hours.
14
Yeah,
hours.
but then again, he's
a pro.
acclimated, and
Exactly.
he's a pro, and he's used to the altitude.
Yes.
The reason the company that we went with, it's called Alpine Ascents, and they took 14 days because if you go slowly, you stand a much better chance of reaching the summit.
Yes.
And in fact, we saw people who went faster, and they ended up turning around short of the summit.
My goodness. All right, you raised how much money?
So far, I've raised just over $10,000.
And the goal is?
$13,000.
And why is it 13?
Because the total climb is 13,000 feet, from about 7,000 to about 20,000.
Great. Well, we hope to raise more money, and they can do that by going to which website?
It's the First Giving website. It's firstgiving/fundraiser / Roger Hess, I think, Denali climb.
Very good. We'll have that up for all of our viewers on our website as well. And how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm going, you know, I went back to work. I'm working full-time now. Got a lot of support from the family. I get regular checkups with Memorial Sloan Kettering, which is a great hospital, and they keep an eye on me. But I'm able to do a lot of things now.
Very good. Well, with friends like Roger, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every day is a good day. Thank you so much. For more information on how you can support the Tug McGraw Foundation, log on to WTNH.com and click on Connecticut Style. Roger and David, thanks again.
Thank you, Jocelyn.